Stop right now. Do this when you feel insecure about your future. If you've been lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you're falling behind, this video is for you. Because of the fear you're feeling, it's not random. It's not a weakness. It's not failure. It's a warning signal. And if you ignore it, it gets louder. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly certain about where your life was going? Not hopeful, not distracted, certain. If your answer scares you, good. That means you're paying attention. Because here's the truth most people never hear. Feeling insecure about your future doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're standing at the edge of a breakthrough. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do when that fear hits. Not theory, not hype, real actions. Stay with me. Because one shift in this video can change how you walk into tomorrow. Fear feels so heavy for this reason. Let's talk about the weight. That pressure in your chest. That quiet tension that never fully leaves. That feeling like something is wrong, even when nothing is happening. This fear isn't loud, it's constant. And that's why it's exhausting. Your mind was not designed to cope with endless uncertainty. It was designed for survival. When the path ahead feels unclear, your brain assumes danger. Not because danger is real, but because uncertainty feels unsafe. So your mind starts scanning for problems, for threats, for signs that you're falling behind. And the moment it finds one, it locks onto it. One thought turns into 10. 10 turns into a story. And that story feels real. Here's the scary part. Your brain does not care if the story is true. It only cares if the story feels protective. That's why you can feel anxious on a calm day. That's why progress still feels fragile. That's why success doesn't always bring peace. Because peace does not come from comfort. It comes from certainty. And right now, certainty feels missing. You wake up. You move through your day. You do what needs to be done. But in the quiet moments, the questions show up. Am I on the right path? Is this enough? What if this doesn't work out? Those questions don't mean you're weak. They mean your mind wants direction. Let me tell you a quick story. Someone once told me, I'm not failing. I'm just tired of not knowing. That sentence matters. Because most people aren't afraid of hard work. They're afraid of working hard in the wrong direction. That's where this fear comes from. Not from laziness. Not from lack of talent. But from a lack of clarity. When effort doesn't feel connected to a future, the mind panics. It starts asking, what's the point? And when the mind doesn't get an answer, it creates doubt. Here's another truth. The world moves fast. Too fast. You see people changing careers, launching projects, starting over, winning big, then disappearing. Your mind compares your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight moment. And comparison creates urgency. Urgency without clarity creates fear. That fear feels personal. But it's not. It's environmental. Too many options. Too many voices. Too many opinions. Your brain gets overloaded, so it defaults to the safest assumption. Something must be wrong with me. That thought is heavy, and it's false. Let me ask you something important. When was the last time you gave yourself credit for adapting? For surviving change? For learning on the fly? For getting back up without applause? You've been stronger than you realize. But strength without direction still feels scary. That's the gap. And your fear lives in that gap. Another hard truth. When the future feels unclear, your brain tries to control the only thing it can, your thoughts. It replays mistakes. It questions decisions. It magnifies risk, not to hurt you, to protect you. But protection without perspective becomes pressure, and pressure builds quietly. You don't notice it at first. You just feel tense, restless, easily irritated. Then motivation drops, focus slips, confidence wobbles. Not because you're incapable, but because you're carrying mental weight. That was never meant to be carried alone. Here's the shift. Fear grows when it stays unnamed. It weakens when it's understood. So understand this. You are not afraid of the future. You're afraid of losing control. Control over your time, your effort, your direction. Once you see that, everything changes. Because control is something you can rebuild. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. And that's where this video is taking you next. Right now. You don't need answers about the next 10 years. You need traction. And in the next section, you're going to learn how to take your power back by changing the questions you ask yourself. Stay with me. Because of this fear, it's not here to stop you. It's here to wake you up. Stop asking questions that weaken you. Your life moves in the direction of your questions, not your goals, not your hopes, your questions. Because questions decide focus, and focus decides emotion. Right now, when fear shows up, most people do the same thing. What if this goes wrong? What if I mess this up? What if I regret this later? Those questions feel responsible. They feel smart. They feel safe. They are not. They drain energy. They shrink options. They trap you in your head. Every time you ask a fear-based question, your brain looks for danger, and it always finds it. That's not wisdom. That's self-sabotage. Let's slow this down. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. It answers whatever you ask. Ask weak questions. Get weak answers. Ask strong questions. Get strong direction. Here's the mistake. When uncertainty hits, people ask future questions. Big questions. Heavy questions. Where will I be in 5 years? What if I choose the wrong path? What if this never works? Those questions have no immediate answer. So your mind spirals. Confusion grows. Fear multiplies. Momentum dies. Strong people do something different. They collapse time. They bring the question back to now. What can I control today? What's the next small move? What action reduces stress instead of adding to it? These questions don't overwhelm you. They ground you. Let me provide a real-world example. Someone once said, I don't know what to do with my life. What do you know you can do today? Silence, then clarity. I can show up. I can learn. I can take care of my body. I can finish what I start. That's power, because action creates clarity, not the other way around. Let me ask you something. When fear hits, do you move or do you freeze? Freezing doesn't mean laziness. It means the question is too big, so shrink the question. Instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what would failure teach me? Instead of asking, what if I waste time? Ask, what's one skill that always pays off? Instead of asking, what if I'm not enough? Ask, what would being enough look like today? Feel the difference. One set weakens the other activities. Here's another truth. Fear loves vague language. Someday, eventually, maybe. Those words sound harmless. They are dangerous. They delay decisions. They weaken urgency. They drain confidence. Strong questions are specific. What can I finish in the next hour? What habit needs to become non-negotiable? What distraction needs to go? Specific questions force action. Action kills anxiety. Let that sink in. Most anxiety isn't emotional. It's behavioral. It's the cost of hesitation. Now let me challenge you. What question have you been asking on repeat? The one that shows up late at night. The one that steals your focus. The one that makes everything feel heavier. That question is shaping your future, and you get to replace it. Starting now, here's a powerful reset question. If this were fixable, what would I do first? Your brain will answer. It always does. Another one. What decision would future me respect? Not fear, not comfort, respect. Another. What am I avoiding that would free me? These questions don't attack you. They align you. And alignment creates movement. Here's the shift most people miss. You don't need better motivation. You need better direction. Direction comes from better questions. Because questions guide behavior. Behavior builds identity. Identity shapes destiny. So stop interrogating your future. Command your present. Ask questions that give you leverage. Questions that create motion. Questions that build confidence one step at a time. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You rise to the level of your daily questions. Choose them wisely. In the next section, we're going to lock this in even deeper. Because once your questions change, your identity must change too. And that's where real confidence begins. Stay with me. Most people think they need a plan. A better plan, a smarter plan, a safer plan. They don't. Plans change. Markets shift. Life interrupts. Identity stays. When things feel unstable, the strategy feels fragile. That's why people panic when plans fall apart. Because they built their confidence on a map, not on themselves. Let me be clear. You do not rise because of strategy. You rise because of who you decide to be. Right now, when you think about your future, you're probably asking, what should I do next? That question comes too late. The real question is, Who do I need to become? Because the person you are decides the moves you make, not the other way around. Here's where most people get stuck. They wait. They wait to feel confident. They wait to feel ready. They wait to feel certain. That wait is costly. Confidence is not a feeling. It's a pattern of actions taken by someone who trusts themselves. Let me tell you a story. There was a time when someone lost everything. Job gone, routine gone, sense of control gone, no plan, no backup, just pressure. But instead of asking, how do I fix this? They asked, how does someone who adapts show up today? That question changed everything. They didn't fix their life in a week. They fixed their identity in a moment. They stopped acting like a victim of change. They started acting like a builder. Builders don't panic. Builders adjust. That's the difference. Identity answers pressure before strategy ever can. Here's the hard truth. If you don't define who you are, circumstances will do it for you. Missed opportunities become labels. Delays become shame. Setbacks become identity. And suddenly, you're not someone going through a phase. You're behind. You're stuck. You're not cut out for this. That's dangerous. Because identity shapes behavior automatically. You don't have to think about it. You just act in alignment with it. So let me ask you something powerful. When things get uncomfortable, who do you become? Do you shrink? Do you delay? Do you distract? Or do you focus? Do you adapt? Do you execute? Those responses aren't random. They are identity-driven. Strong people don't wait for clarity. They bring clarity through action. They decide who they are before they decide what they'll do. Here's how you shift this. You choose your identity on purpose. Not the loud version, not the fake version, the functional version. Ask yourself what kind of person keeps moving under pressure. What kind of person finishes what they start? What kind of person stays grounded when things change? Now here's the key. You don't need to feel like that person. You need to act like them. Identity follows action, not the other way around. Every time you act in alignment with the identity you want, your brain rewires. It says, this is who we are now. That's how confidence is built. Not through hype, through evidence, small actions, kept promises, daily integrity. Someone once said, I don't believe in myself. The problem wasn't belief, it was proof. They had no proof because they avoided hard actions. So they started small. One workout, one finished task, one honest conversation, and something shifted. Not their circumstances, their self-trust. Self-trust changes posture. It changes tone. It changes decisions. And decisions change direction. Here's something most people miss. You don't need a massive identity overhaul. You need a stable identity anchor. An anchor holds during storms. I'm someone who shows up. I'm someone who adapts. I'm someone who follows through. Say it, then prove it. Every day, when your identity is stable, the strategy becomes flexible. Plans can change without panic. Detours don't feel like failure. Uncertainty doesn't feel personal. Because you trust the one walking the path. So stop asking, what's the perfect move? Start asking, what would someone I respect do right now? That question bypasses fear. It moves you forward even when the path isn't clear. In the next section, we're going to lock this identity in with daily actions that create certainty. Because once you know who you are, the future stops feeling threatening. It starts feeling negotiable. Stay with me. This is where confidence becomes real. People think certainty comes from answers. It doesn't. It comes from evidence. Evidence that you can rely on yourself. Evidence that you do what you say. Evidence that you follow through. Without that, confidence collapses fast. Here's the brutal truth. Most insecurity isn't about the future. It's about self-trust. When you don't trust yourself, every decision feels heavy. You overthink, you delay, you second guess. Not because the choice is hard, because you don't believe you'll handle the outcome. That belief is built daily or destroyed daily. Let me ask you something real. How often do you promise yourself something and quietly break it? Wake up earlier. Start tomorrow. Get back on track. No one else notices. But your mind does. Every broken promise teaches your brain one thing. Don't trust me. That voice grows louder over time, and certainty disappears. Here's the shift. Certainty isn't knowing what will happen. It's knowing who you'll be when it does. That confidence comes from small wins, daily wins, not dramatic, not impressive, consistent. People wait for motivation. That's backward. Motivation follows movement. Movement starts with standards. Standards are rules you don't negotiate. Not with your mood, not with your excuses, not with fear. Let's break this down. You need daily anchors. Simple, repeatable, unskippable. One anchor for your body, one for your mind, one for progress. Nothing fancy. Move your body, even 10 minutes. Feed your mind. One page, one idea. Move something forward, one task finished. That's it. When you do this daily, something powerful happens. You stop doubting yourself because doubt needs gaps and you're closing them. Let me tell you a story. Someone once felt completely lost. Every day felt heavy. Decisions felt risky. So they stopped trying to fix their life. They focused on keeping promises, tiny ones. Drink water in the morning, walk every evening, plan the next day at night, nothing flashy. 2 weeks later, they stood differently, spoke differently, chose differently. Nothing outside changed. Everything inside did. That's certain. It's quiet, grounded, stable, and it's earned. Here's another truth. Your environment is always training you. Your phone, your routine, your conversations. If your environment rewards distraction, your confidence erodes. Certainty needs structure. Structure creates rhythm. Rhythm creates calm. So design your day before your day designs you. Decide when you start. Decide what matters. Decide when you stop. You don't need more time. You need boundaries. Boundaries protect focus. Focus builds momentum. Momentum creates belief. Let me ask you something important. If someone watched your daily habits, what would they assume about your future? Would they see discipline or drift? The future doesn't respond to intention. It responds to patterns. Patterns are built one day at a time. Another key shift. Stop waiting for big wins. Big wins don't build certainty. They test it. Small wins build the foundation. Certainty is boring to outsiders. It's exciting on the inside. Because when you trust yourself, pressure feels lighter. Setbacks feel temporary. Challenges feel solvable. You don't panic, you adjust. That's power. And it's available to you starting today. So here's your challenge. Pick 3 non-negotiables. Just 3. Write them down. Do them daily. No matter what. Not perfectly. Consistently. Miss a day? No guilt. No drama. Consistency beats intensity every time. In the next section, we're going to show you how to use fear itself as fuel instead of friction. Because once certainty is built, fear loses control. Stay with me. This is where strength becomes unshakable. This is how to turn your fear into force. Fear gets a bad name. People treat it like an enemy, something to avoid, something to silence. That's a mistake. Fear is not the problem. Fear is power without direction. When fear shows up, your body activates, heart speeds up, breath shortens. Focus narrows. That's energy. The problem isn't fear. It's what you do with it. Most people freeze. They scroll, they distract, they wait. That wastes the energy. Strong people redirect it. Let me explain. Fear appears when something matters. It shows up before growth. It shows up before the change. If you didn't care, you wouldn't feel it. So instead of asking, how do I get rid of fear? Ask, how do I use this? That question alone shifts control back to you. Let me tell you a story. Someone once stood at the edge of a big decision. Mind racing. They almost walked away, not because they couldn't do it, because they were afraid of stepping up. Then they asked one question. What would happen if I moved anyway? They moved. That moment didn't remove fear. It transformed it. Fear became focus. Focus became action. Action became confidence. Here's the truth. Courage is not calm. Courage is movement in discomfort. You don't wait for fear to leave. You move with it. Think about this. Fear always lies about time. It says, now is not the moment. Wait until you're ready. Play it safe. But fear has no finish line. Waiting does not make it smaller. Action does. Here's a powerful reset. When fear hits, do something physical. Stand up, move, change posture. Your body leads your mind. Then breathe slowly. Deep. Control. This tells your nervous system, I'm in charge. Now ask a better question. What is one bold action I can take right now? Not 10. 1. Small, immediate, forward. Fear hates forward motion. Let me challenge you. Think about something you've been avoiding. The call, the decision, the conversation. Notice the tension. That tension is unused force. Use it. Take one step. Send the message. Start the task. Don't think. Move. Here's another key shift. Fear shrinks when named. Say it. I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of being judged. I'm afraid of wasting time. Once spoken, fear loses mystery, and mystery gives fear power. Here's something few people realize. Fear and excitement feel the same in the body. Fast heart, sharp focus, high energy. The difference is the story you tell. Change the story, change the experience. Instead of, this is dangerous, say, this is growth. Your body follows language. Another story. Someone once avoided public speaking for years. Fear controlled them. One day they spoke anyway, voice shaking, hands tense. They survived. The fear didn't disappear, but it lost authority. That's how fear is defeated, not by comfort, by proof that you can act under pressure. Every time you do, fear becomes weaker. You become stronger. Here's a warning. Avoiding fear trains it to return bigger. Facing fear trains confidence. You choose the training. So stop asking, how do I feel better? Start asking, what would make me stronger? Strength lasts. Comfort fades. Fear is not here to stop you. It's here to prepare you. When you use it, you grow. When you run from it, it chases you. Let fear become your signal. Signal to focus. Signal to move. Signal to lead. In the next section, we'll channel this force into a clear direction that pulls you forward. Because when fear has a purpose, it turns into a drive. Stay with me. You're closer than you think. This is the final step. You need to listen carefully. You are not behind. You are not weak. You are not running out of time. You are waking up. And insecure people don't watch videos like this. People ready to grow do. So here's the real question. What are you going to do today that proves you trust yourself? Because the future doesn't reward comfort. It rewards movement. And the moment you move, everything changes. Stay hungry. Stay bold. Your next chapter starts now. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, my friends.